Well, April is Autism Awareness Month, and joining us now is Marty Calder from Center Counseling Services for Parenting Tips, and we're going to learn how you can learn how to spot the disorder. Well, I guess first thing, kind of tell us what exactly is autism. I guess there's misconceptions out there on exactly what it is.
There is, and there's some changes coming with the diagnostic criteria as well. So, autism is a spectrum disorder. In fact, meaning that the severity can be mild to more severe. And in the DSM-5, which is what they use to diagnose all disorders, mental health and developmental disabilities, they've actually taken out one of the components that's been traditionally under that autism spectrum, which is Asperger's.
Okay.
Now, Asperger's was actually found in Germany in the 20s through some research, and then republished in England in the 80s. And but as researchers have looked at it, it's really under that same spectrum. There's not really a difference. It's just the lack of severity of language delays in Asperger's.
So traditional autism, then, what is that?
So traditional autism is marked by behaviors, and so that's what's hard about autism. And there's not a test you can take, there's not a blood test you can do. It's really looking at and observing the child. So there's a significant language delay, lack of social interaction, lack of awareness of social cues and things like that. Many times what we would term as self-stimulation behavior, rocking, hand flapping, those kind of things would be connected to severe autism.
As a parent sitting at home, what can you kind of look for in your child to see, hey, is my kid, do they have this?
Right. The language delay is one of the first things if they're not progressing on sort of major milestones. All kids vary. Some are going to walk sooner than others and crawl and all that kind of stuff. But as you look in your little neighborhood or your play group, if they're more significant delayed than most of the rest of the kids, they're not at those milestones, that's the first indication. Having good communication with your pediatrician about that kind of thing. The lack of social interaction. So if they're just looking at the cool reflection on the wall, and there's all kinds of other stuff that they could be doing and participating in, and toys, and they're just sort of focused on that. That's
so kind of like a zoning out, maybe?
Yeah, and they're. What's interesting about autism is that, for example, a child may line up the cars. Most kids are playing with the cars and taking them on streets, things like that. A child with autism may line them up in a straight line and be really concerned about them getting out of line and the organization they are, rather than playing with the cars as a car.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us this morning.